It's a known fact that women in general have more pressure on themselves in society just because we need to prove ourselves more. Things are more difficult for us. We get paid lesser than men, which means that if at any point of time we are treated better or we are paid better, we're like, but why?
Hello and welcome to Say Something with Mads. Every week, I invite youth from across the globe to share their opinion, their issues, their challenges, their perspectives about something which connects to the youth and which will impact the listeners who are mostly young people, Gen Z, who are listening to us. Today, I have Saakshi Rajpurkar. She is right now speaking from New York, but I know her from her childhood. I saw her growing up in front of me, and I'm extremely happy. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome her. Hi, Sakshi, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm really well. How are you doing?
We are doing good. It's actually surreal that virtually speaking to you, whereas we stayed together for so many years. But
Yes.
I have something very deep lined up for people who are listening today, because today we are discussing a topic which I think is something which is worth pondering. If we are talking about imposter syndrome and how it is related to mental well-being also. So Sakshi, first of all, introduce yourself, and I want to know what this beautiful name means and what are you doing right now, what are your dreams and aspirations, and talk about your journey from India to US for our audience.
Yes, of course. My dad used to kind of drive around Mira Road in Bombay looking for names for me when my mom was pregnant. Like he'd write down names of buildings and then come back
Oh.
and be like, what? Yeah. And so they named me something weird, and then they were at the like the naming place in the office. And there was this random kid that was running around, and they were like, this kid's name is Sakshi. This one seems like a Sakshi. That's how they ended up naming me. It means witness, and my parents are cheesy that way. So they're like, it's a witness to our love. Um,
It's a
um,
beautiful name, actually. Sakshi can be anything. In Hindu culture and all, Sakshi is Bhagwan ko Sakshi mano, ya Agni ko Sakshi man ke. Everything we do as this word has a lot of connotation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my name. I grew up in Bombay. I did my undergrad in Pune at Symbiosis School for Liberal Arts. I majored in marketing and advertising. The theory section, I didn't design a lot during that time, but I kind of worked on one packaging project, and that's what got me here. So now I'm studying at Pratt Institute in New York, in packaging.
Yeah, Sakshi has made it actually very short, but she's a very talented painter. She paints a lot. She designs beautifully. I have seen her painting from childhood, and she has done a lot of work, or real paintings she has done. And she's also a tattoo artist. I heard she does a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
tattoo. And basically, she's a creative girl, and she's into packaging right now, and that's also creative field.
I
How
think
are you
I think
feeling?
it's it's finally
Yeah,
just about being type A to the point where I just have to like keep doing different things or I get really bored. That's kind
yeah.
of where everything came from. I mean, I started my journey through doing like paintings and stuff. Did a lot of like classes even at home.
Mm.
Jojo was obviously a part of. And after that, I kind of went more into like digital illustration work. I freelanced in that from 2016 to like before I came here. So I used to do like freelance design work and illustration work for small
Mm.
brands, like individuals, just startups. Yeah, and then I've been here and I still work on campus as well as for an organization called So Far. And I do design work and curation for them. Yeah.
All right. Oh, great. Sakshi, before we move on to our topic of discussion, I would like to ask you, since you are from India, you're taking a course over there. So, what is the biggest challenge you faced when you reached there, and what is it that you miss about India?
I think it was the ease of everything. I mean, India's just easy to live in. It's it's like very user friendly in that way. Like
Mm,
public transport is much better, food's much easier, things
mm.
cheaper, which is
Yeah,
really
yeah.
nice. I really like not having to pay $6 for 12 eggs.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
I feel like India is more user friendly than the US will ever be. Also, it helps
Mm,
that you're not a minority in your own country, which you are here.
mm.
And you're still
Yeah,
like learning the
that's the
social norm.
biggest. Yes,
Exactly.
yeah. Mm.
We
I,
kind of came to the top of the food chain to now be at like the very bottom. It's difficult to kind of navigate race as well as like womanhood when you're in a different country. So
mm,
you're at the
I'm
bottom
sure.
of the barrel trying to make your way up, and it's just difficult.
True. So today's topic, you chose to talk about imposter syndrome. And
Mhm,
as I was researching on the topic, people of color are more
mhm,
prone to this syndrome than others. And actually, worldwide, there's a data that 70% of people has somewhere or other um, experienced this in their life. Somewhere, we people, we say that I don't belong here, I'm not good enough, I feel like a fraud. Even if you are successful, very successful people even go through this. So, why did you choose this topic for our discussion? And what would you say about your life incidents which make you choose this topic?
So like I said, I've always been someone who needs to like try out different things. And which means that every single time that I was trying something new or I put my hand into something new, I was like, I can't do it. Why would I be able to do it? I will not be able to do it. And this happens,
Mm,
like um, it's a known fact that women in general have more pressure on themselves in society just because we need to prove ourselves more. Things are more difficult for us. We get paid lesser than men, which means that if at any point of time we are treated better or we are paid better, we're like, but why? Is this a scam
okay.
against us?
Mm,
Because we're like trained to not expect things. And then when we
mm.
suddenly get like our wishes, we're like, how?
Why?
Why
How?
did this
Why is
happen
this
to
happening
me?
to me? Mm,
Exactly. And I feel like this happens like more so in creative fields because it's extremely subjective, right? Like it's not like 2 plus 2 is not 4. Like
mm,
I could like the color pink, but my client could
mm,
hate it. And
mm,
sometimes when you end up designing for so long, there are times when clients just like what you've done,
mm,
and they're like, no, it looks great. And I was like, are you sure? Are you, because
mm,
you're paying me, are you sure you like it?
mm,
And that's when you start like questioning your own
mm,
instincts, your own skills, because another thing is that technology is always changing, it's always adapting. Technology, especially in the creative field, is constantly changing. There's new softwares that I have to learn. With that, you're constantly having to learn these new softwares. And let's say you meet a designer who knows 7 and you only know like 6. You're like, crap, I haven't been doing a good job. Like this one's so much better than me. There's a lot more
mm,
comparison in the creative field.
mm. True.
So yeah, sure.
Also, there is when imposter syndrome can be of various type. One among them, as I said, is we were discussing is about the superwoman syndrome. Many of
Mhm.
us we feel that we are so self-sufficient in our doing. It's beneath us to ask somebody for help. It will show us that we are weak. Whereas this can lead to issues of mental anxiety and depression if we keep on living in this kind of syndrome. What do you have to say about that?
I feel like I personally don't have a superwoman syndrome. I'm very used to asking for help, mainly because I
Mm,
am self-taught as a designer. And when you're teaching yourself, you don't have a choice but to ask questions because nobody
mm.
else is holding your hand to train you.
Hmm.
And when you're so I've become really used to asking questions, but I look at my mom and I look at like
Hmm.
especially older women like in their 40s and 50s, they will not
Hmm.
ask for help because we're trying to
Hmm.
prove ourselves to society, and if we ask for help then we're demeaning our qualities, or
Absolutely right.
diminishing our qualities, and that happens
Hmm.
all the time, because
Hmm.
of which many women especially will not ask for help.
Hmm.
um and I will not speak for men because I don't know
Hmm.
their experience. But as for mental illnesses like anxiety, I do suffer from chronic anxiety. But and I feel like they kind of go hand in hand, where imposter syndrome can give you anxiety, and anxiety itself can give you imposter syndrome. Because finally,
Correct.
anxiety is an illness that is lying to you.
Hmm.
None of it is true. It's something that's lying to you, telling you that you can't do this, telling you that you're not doing well, telling you that your
Hmm.
friends. I feel like imposter syndrome is the same. So it's like an offshoot, like one symptom of
Yeah,
anxiety.
correct. It's somehow connected. Yeah. Like being a extreme perfectionist is also kind of imposter syndrome, that I'm perfect, I cannot make mistakes. This also
Mhm.
leads to an anxiety, because nobody
Exactly.
can be perfect in everything. And that you are saying that I'm perfect is again a falsehood you are creating for yourself.
Mhm.
So which
Exactly.
is very
I
difficult to
just
live. Hmm.
I was just in a classroom recently during a lecture where a professor of mine said the phrase failing forward, and that just kind of stuck with me. I think it's such a great phrase. You fail, but you fail and you learn, so you're failing forward, not backwards.
Yeah, falling back, falling forward. I've heard this before, and really, it makes sense that we when we don't make mistake, we are never learning. Only when we fall down, we are going ahead. Lovely. Sakshi, how do you think that you are living away from your family and you are a new city? You are living with people who are not of same ethnic background as you. How is do you cope up with the mental anxiety, as you said, or some kind of a support system? What do you look for, and what is that gives you happiness, or how do you come out of such phases when you are down and low, and who is it you look up to then?
Um, in general, while I'm here, so when I came in here 2 years ago, when I came to the city, I didn't know anybody here. I didn't have family, I didn't have friends. So I kind of started from scratch as compared to people that have had help before.
Hmm.
And just kind of navigating not just like socially, but also professionally to understand like where do I shop, what do I do? And I feel like in kind of navigating New York and understanding the city and understanding the culture, I ended up meeting a lot of people that I resonated with. Um, I used to do a lot of things when I came in. I used to go to places alone and meet other people that were alone, and like we'd get into a conversation. And these people have become really close to me now. Another way I kind of make sure that my sanity is like really strong is by making sure that I do have other POC friends. I try to
Hmm.
keep that ratio of POC versus American really like high and distinct, because people from other cultures will understand where I'm coming from, where people
Yeah.
from here, especially with white backgrounds, don't really understand
Hmm.
what you're saying. Like I
Hmm.
remember a bunch of like black and brown friends of mine were at home, and we were just like kind of reminiscing about our childhood, and we were like, ha, you remember that time your mom hit you with a jhadu? Um,
And
and
people like, what?
my white roommate was like, I'm sorry, she did what? I was like, it's not a big deal. Like everyone's had it. Like you would be. And she was like, no, oh my God. So it's you kind of have to like have that conversation and meet people that are more like-minded. Other than that, I feel like I did end up finding like my boss when I first started became a huge source of inspiration for me. She
Hmm.
was POC, she was the manager of the studios at the point. Right now she studied like now she works at MIT. She was working and studying at Harvard at the same time. It was just she was just a ginormous source of inspiration for me. We were still really close. And I feel like every time something goes wrong, especially like in school or professionally, I'm like, oh my God, where is this girl? I need her now. And
Hmm.
what was really funny to me was almost a year and a half after knowing her, I found out that she was a year and a half younger than I am. She was like
Okay.
24 years old. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? I've been
Hmm.
looking at someone that is younger than me for inspiration, which is so confusing for me.
Yeah, actually, that's not confusing now, because when I'm
Yeah.
speaking to youth every day, I thought, what? I have never learned from books or meeting an experienced person. I'm learning from people like you who
Yeah.
have such actual experiences, which are such beautifully they put across their thought that I'm learning from them. So I think age is absolutely not necessity for
100%. It was
giving
just,
you.
I never thought of her as someone like younger than
Yeah.
me. I was like, oh my God, this like amazing adult that I found, and she turned
Great.
out to be a little baby.
Sakshi, I was just about to ask you the next question is who is your role model? Would you say that your lady, the girl who we're talking about, your ex-boss, would
I
you be?
do, I do really look up to my ex-boss. We're very close friends now. I think she's made such a fantastic life for her, from like quitting the job. She traveled while she was studying. She's just made a really good life for her, but for sure. But if we're looking at someone that is more known, I'm I really there is an Indian illustrator called Naveen Selva.
Okay.
Um giant fan. His work, his poise, the way he kind of like his work kind of really resonates with his experience in India, because um he doesn't live in India anymore, but his work is really Indian, but he does it in a way where Western world doesn't look at it as like, oh my God, this is so ethnic, we don't like it. Like he's done a good job of like bringing them into his work.
Hmm. Hmm. So your work inspiration is Navin Silva. I will look him up and will learn more about him because I'm not from that field, so it will take me some
Yeah.
time to see what you're talking about. Sakshi, what is your strength, biggest strength, and what is something is your limitation you want to overcome?
My biggest strength would possibly be the fact that I'm a big planner. Like my
Okay.
days are planned from like the second I wake up to the second I sleep, and I kind of am very good at following that. So I'm good at like completing things at hand and like just kind of being on top of
Very
things.
organized about
Yeah.
everything. Mm.
Yes. But I feel like weakness wise, I kind of sometimes forget to um give myself time to like not have things planned, just to like kind of lay back, chill. My brain keeps like going.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I'm not very good at like just being like chill. Just give it a second, just calm down, sit back. I feel like that's kind
Mm.
of where I suffer.
All right, great. So just to know that, yes, this is my limitation. I have to overcome that. It's good to at least know that this is your weak point, you're working on it. But your strength is something really fantastic. You are planning the day and planning everything what you want to achieve. But here comes again your topic of imposter syndrome. Like, what if you can't complete? Or what if you achieve something? What does it happen then?
If my schedule doesn't go according to plan, or if I end up taking time to myself, I'm like, no, you don't deserve it. You remember that one
Mm,
thing
yeah.
you forgot to do? Remember how you were supposed to clean the bathroom, but you did not? That's
Mm.
it. Come,
There's a
why you won't
constant
you
talk.
right now? You're not allowed to do it. So I
Mm,
feel like a lot of times, because of how intensely I plan my schedule, I kind of end up blaming myself for not finishing every single thing on it.
mm.
So yeah, for
This
sure.
uh, this is something very common to us women, especially as you said, we'll speak about women because we know ourselves best and we know
Yeah,
our community. That when we are happy, we feel we don't deserve this happiness,
100%.
right?
100%.
Yeah,
Yes. Because you kind of always feel like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, why are things going well? Why hasn't there been something negative that's happened? Something is wrong. Um,
yeah.
kind of doubt it. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Hmm. This happens
It's kind
every
of
day
like
when you get up. Why something is not wrong, why everything is all right.
that.
Like it's constant fear of something going wrong because you are not enjoying that happiness. Is it very
Mhm.
typical? What would you say about this for young people?
I don't mean to diagnose everyone that's listening. I don't mean to mentally diagnose you, but it is a giant part of anxiety.
Mm,
Like waiting for something bad to happen is a part of anxiety. And if you're facing
mm,
this on a regular, you might want to seek help. But I don't mean to
absolutely.
diagnose you. There are people that obviously um don't have a mental illness but still face it. But like the world is in such a way right now that everyone is going through something or the other. especially since COVID. Everyone's been through all the trauma they possibly could. And I feel like when after facing a lot of hardships, when you're suddenly really calm, you're bound to
Mm.
be a little bit confused by it. Yeah.
This topic is, I think it is never ending. We start discovering ourselves through this topic, and I'm so happy that you actually brought this topic as a discussion point. I think we beautifully delved into a lot of issues, and I'm so happy once again that you are on my channel, Sakshi. I wish you a lot of good things ahead in life. You are going to search for very soon. You're finishing and you're looking for a job. I hope you get the best of the job and you have the best of the life. But now is the time. Before we end, you get to ask me one question. What would that one question be?
Ooh, I feel like I'm gonna go a little like personal, but did you feel a certain sense of kind of failure, giving up, imposter when you were moving countries yourself because you just moved as well? Because
Yes.
you were leaving like an entire world that you made for yourself behind. So
And yeah, and that too at this age when you are not
exactly.
supposed to move, your children supposed to leave home, and I myself moved. Really, it was a very, very tough time. 1 year, I realized that I am into depression, anxiety, everything. Every day you get up, you know, why am I here? I always wanted to be in Dubai, but I couldn't believe that am I actually in this place which I wanted to for so long. And why am I here? Why am I surrounded by so many beautiful things and enjoying things when people were suffering in India? Pandemic that hit very badly because here, when where the place I was open just a month, and we were actually enjoying this phase. Whereas when I see people back home really terribly affected, you feel you don't deserve this, and that has badly hit me. So when
Oh,
things started opening up and people started coming back, and gained their confidence and things, and then I realized that yes, I deserve to be here, and I'm happy being here. So you asked a very, very pertinent question. I did feel that I'm at an advantage, but I questioned myself, why am I having this advantage? I don't deserve this. I need to be in India to suffer with everybody. So
it wasn't great being at home at that point because like the three of us were just like smushed in. We couldn't leave a lot. It was bad. It wasn't great.
it was bad. Yeah, really. Thank you so much, Sakshi. I had great discussion. And when this is published, I'm sure this will be the topic of discussion among youth. And once again, wish you a lot of good luck, and
Thank
hope to meet you
you.
in person soon.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for those who are subscribing to my channel and making it such a huge thing. I'm really indebted for each one of you who are leaving comments and who are enjoying these talks with the Gen Z. Before I end, I always say that we have only one planet. Do a little bit every day to take care of that planet from your end. Each one of us can make a difference. See you again next week, and bye bye. Bye, Sakshi.
Bye.